like Joey. I liked him when I was a kid. I give him his props. Let's be realistic. Him, his crew, him, Stevie, Lance, Georgie Borghese. I mean, these kids, they took over a city through violence, through fear of death. I mean, they didn't take over the city because they were choir boys or altar boys. They took over the city because people were afraid to get shot in the head. And, when I was a kid, everybody knew it. The whole neighborhood knew each other. I mean, it was a tight Ozone Park. We all knew each other. In the summer, everybody sat out on the stoops. On 101st Avenue, all the old Italian ladies used to sit out on folding chairs because they had no stoops on 101st Avenue. The person with the gun, the migrant with the gun that robbed a person that lived in Ozone Park, he would die.
Your cybersecurity solution is here. Introducing Pentester's Advanced Cybersecurity Suite. Ready for peace of mind? Try it for free. No credit card required. Pentester.com.
Hello, everybody. My name is Anthony Ruggiano Jr. I want to welcome everybody to Reformed Gangsters. If you like my content, please hit the subscribe button and ring the bell. I'd also appreciate it if you become a Patreon member. The membership starts at $5 per month. That helps with my content. So please become a member. I'll be flying out I have a busy month coming up again. I'm flying out to Arizona on Thursday to do a show with Sammy next week. There's going to be Reformed Gangsters Meet. Also, if you want to attend the event, please become a member of Reformed Gangsters and we'll send you the link. It's going to be a fun time. So I appreciate, come on in. We have a lot of new members this month. I want to thank everybody. Please help me continue and support reformedgangsters.com. So I want to make some comments, and this is not, I'm not knocking Joey Merlino. I'm not trying to get into, tit for tat with him. I personally liked him when I was in the street. I gave him his props. This is not a knock on him. This is just my opinion of what's going on. So there's this rumor going, there's this guy in Detroit that came out with the story that the boss of the Genovese family is upset with Joey. That would be Barney. I'm not saying that's true or untrue. I'm just going to give my opinion on my knowledge of mob guys and that are still active, the ones I personally know, that I had relationships with, or know of through people that have relationships with them. And I'm just going to give you my opinion on how they probably feel about Joey Merlino having a podcast. I don't think they're happy. I don't think they're happy. The ones I know, I don't believe they're happy. He's an unconfessed murderer, and people go on his show. Like I saw Danny Garcia, the fighter, was on his show 2 weeks ago. The guy's a championship fighter. Realistically, has no business being associated with Joey Merlino. I'm surprised he went on the show. I know he's from Philadelphia. And that just goes to show again how the entertainment industry is in awe of mob guys, because even though, it never changed. In my day, it was like that, and it's still today. I mean, they don't really understand who they're sitting next to. The other day, had a hockey player on, a professional NHL hockey player. The guy played for the Flyers. I forget his name. I know Joey's a big sports fan, he was on the show. This guy, Little Snuff, that sits next to him, he really doesn't even know the real Joey Merlino. He thinks he does, but he doesn't. And like I said, this ain't a knock on Joey. I like Joey. I liked him when I was a kid. I give him his props. Let's be realistic. Him, his crew, him, Stevie, Lance, Georgie Borghese. I mean, these kids, they took over a city through violence, through fear of death. I mean, they didn't take over the city because they were choir boys or altar boys. They took over the city because people were afraid to get shot in the head. Like gangs, murderous gangs of Black gangs and Latin gangs paid tribute to them. That's how dangerous they were. They ruled Philadelphia through fear of violence, which is that's Costa Nostra, that's what they have going for them. People feared them. That's what made the mob so powerful, because everybody feared them, because they knew that if they messed up, they'd get shot in the head. As far as this rumor that Barney's mad at him or not happy, I don't know Barney, but I know Nicky Carrazza, who was acting boss of the Gambino family, was good friends with Barney, and I had many conversations with him after he would meet Barney when Barney was the acting boss, and he always had great things to say about Barney. They were very tight. So for Nicky to give Barney praise, Barney is a gangster. And I know Nicky wouldn't be, Nicky's probably not happy with Joey. Nicky knows Joey. Frankie Bones, who I did time with in Schuylkill, he's the underboss of the Lucchese family. He's still active. I don't think he's happy with him, knowing what I know of Frankie Bones. Vic Musso, who I know, who's in prison, who's the acting boss of the Lucchese family. I don't believe he's happy with him. I don't think anybody that's actively in the mob is happy with this guy having a podcast. I'm sure he's not active. I'm sure he stepped down. But, you know, why does he have a podcast? I guess to make money, because he is a degenerate gambler. That was the knock on him when he was in Allenwood with my own man and Arnold and Sonny Francis and everybody. You know, my own man used to tell him all the time that he had to stop gambling. So I'm sure it's to make money, which is fine. We all have to earn a living. But also, I think there's a little bit of because I'm trying to put myself in his shoes, in his mindset. You know, there's a little manipulation going on too, because he says we're the bad guys, the cooperators are the bad guys, and he's the good guys. So there's some jury pool poisoning going on there, because he's getting a lot of views. A lot of people are tuning in because he has the name, he has the charisma. But there's a lot of manipulation going on there. So I don't, I'm not saying that rumor is true or not, but knowing what I know about mob guys, and if I was still in the street, I wouldn't have been happy with that. It is a secret society. I don't think they're happy with him, and I don't think the people that go on the show really know who he is. Not that he's gonna, he's a bad guy. He's a dangerous guy. And these people have, like professional fighters, and they have. They're giving this guy accolades. He's a gangster on a podcast. Like I cooperated. I'm out of the mob. We cooperated. We're gone. We're out of it. Well, I mean, and when I was a kid, everybody knew it. The whole neighborhood knew each other. I mean, it was a tight Ozone Park. We all knew each other. Everybody knew. Everybody in the summer. Everybody sat out on the stoops. On 101st Avenue, all the old Italian ladies used to sit out on folding chairs because they had no stoops on 101st Avenue. But the side streets had stoops and porches, so people would sit out. I mean, in the summer, the whole neighborhood was outside the houses. Nobody really had air conditioners back then, you know what I mean? So we were outside, playing ball, playing Ringalivio, stoop ball, slap ball. I mean, And this is another block I grew up on that changed. This used to be a lot. We used to call this the Waterworks. My partner, Frankie Locke, lived in that house right there. He became my partner. My son, my daughter's godfather. He was my crime partner. And this is the street I grew up on. This is the street I ventured off of when I first met John Gotti. It was on 91st Street between 95th Avenue and 97th Avenue. My grandfather owned the house. This is the block right here. Still coming up to it. This is at 91st Street. So this was where we used to play. This is the block I grew up on, basically. Most in my early childhood. This was a sewer right here. That was home plate. That was home base. It's gone now. We used to play stickball. And this is the house I grew up in. Right here. 95, right here, 95. Right there, 95, 13. That's the house I grew up in. That's the house I lived in when I met John Gotti. This is the block I ventured off of when I started hanging out at the pizzeria. And it's crazy because there was really very, very few obese kids back then, you know what I mean? Like, because we were so active, we were out all day. Kids today are so unhealthy because they're all in their house on these devices, we had no devices. So it was just a different world. I mean, everybody knew each other. Nobody's mother worked. Very, very, out of all my friends, only two friends of my mother's worked. And that's because their fathers passed away when they were kids. So the mother had to go to work. But anybody that had two parents in the house, the mothers didn't work. And it was a better world. No kids were going to school with guns. No kid. I mean, you never heard of a 12-year-old kid committing suicide. I didn't even know what suicide was when I was 12 years old. I mean, today, it's a whole different world out there today than when I was a kid. And New York was a great place. I mean, there was all neighborhoods. Today, I drive to New York today, there are no more neighborhoods. There are no more neighborhoods. You know, every borough had neighborhoods, and the neighborhoods all stuck together, and everybody knew each other, and the mob was prevalent in all the neighborhoods. Every neighborhood had mob presence in it. I mean, almost every neighborhood had a social club, and every neighborhood was not controlled by the mob, but the mob had a big presence in almost every neighborhood.